You're listening to the Why Boarding School podcast, broadcasting around the world. Join us as we promote independent boarding schools throughout the United States and Canada with our invited guests. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jeffrey Quebec.
Welcome to the Why Boarding School podcast. I'm Jeff Quebec, and today I'm joined by the Associate Dean of Admissions at Lawrenceville School in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, Christi Ding. Welcome, Christi. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so with quite a rich history dating back to 1810, including being one of the oldest preparatory schools in the United States, Lawrenceville certainly seems to have remained true to its mission. And Christi, perhaps you can start off by giving our audience a brief overview of the number of students at Lawrenceville School, the grades you offer, where your students come from, etc.
So the Lawrenceville School is a co-ed institution that has students from all over the world, about 32 different countries and 33 different states. In addition to that, we serve grades 9 through 12 with a PG, a postgraduate offering.
Okay. And so for postgraduate, is that a big part of your school? There are a lot of postgraduates. Is it a smaller number or?
Each year the number differs, but I would say we stay in the range of about 15 to 18 postgraduates each year.
Okay. And so what is the academic curriculum like at Lawrenceville School?
So the purpose of our curriculum is pretty foundational as you enter, and then it can get individualized as you go up in the grades. But the idea that our students are going to leave here having a sense of what they want to study in the future, but then also having a very well-rounded understanding of all academic aspects of Lawrenceville.
Our students, they're taking AP classes or advanced placement classes and offering?
So the Lawrenceville School does not offer advanced placement or AP classes. The way that our academics are done is through the Harkness style of learning. And so one of the things that would really limit us in our Harkness discussions would be boxing ourselves into the AP curriculum. Because if you're an AP offering school, you must teach to the curriculum. Now, all of our students are provided the opportunity to take honors level classes. Our classes here at Lawrenceville are set in a way that they are on a level the same way a college is. And so we have 300, 400, 500 level classes. And then our 500 and higher level classes are usually in the upper realm, and they are seen as honors or AP level classes. Our honors level classes, those students are well prepared to sit for the AP exams that are happening in May.
So Christi, you reference Harkness. So I assume you're referring to like the Harkness table model?
Yep, the Harkness method, yes.
So for those audience members that don't know, could you share a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, so the Harkness way of learning really centers itself around collaboration and discussion. And so all of our students engage in that style of learning right off the bat. So starting in 9th grade or whatever year they enter, they will quickly realize that all of our classes are taught in the Harkness style. Our teachers are trained in Harkness style learning, the Harkness method. And so that is, the teachers are sitting amongst them. They're sitting around in a traditional setting, they're sitting around a oval-shaped wooden table where everyone is at the same eye level. And classwork and class discussion is done in a collaborative way. You think of it kind of as a web. The teacher kind of throws out a question or a discussion point, and then they see where the conversation goes. The teacher can be the lead, a student can be a lead. It'll be different in every classroom. A lot of the questions we get are, well, if that's in a humanities or in a language class, how does Harkness work in a science or a math class?
Sure.
I think this is the way you need to look at it. It's the same, but different. And so you really need to lean into the idea that it's not as much discussion, because obviously when X equals 3 in a math class. But I think the main point is learning that it's a collaborative effort where you might be doing work in small groups. You might all be putting something up on a board and going around, and everyone's talking through how they got to that X equals 3. And so I think a hands-on discussion-based, collaborative setting is how you need to view it more in our math and science ways. We've got those classes have, chairs on wheels where everything moves and you're going from pinging from here to there. So the classroom is lively. It's not lecture style in really any of our classes.
That's great. I like the web analogy that you said. I haven't heard that before. That's nice. And certainly it sounds like there's no hiding in the back of the classroom at the Lawrenceville School.
No, not with when you're sitting around a table with maybe 10 other kids. No, can't be hidden.
That's awesome. And so outside of the traditional offerings in the classroom, can you tell us a little bit about the visual and performing arts offerings that are at Lawrenceville School?
Yes, I would love to. So incredibly robust offerings. One of the big things is we often, we have dance, we have theater, we have instrumental music, and we have obviously vocal performance. The exciting thing is our performing arts has a layered approach. This could be something where you're taking classes in those offerings. It could be that it's your afternoon option or your afternoon sport. And it also could be something you do in a club or individually for lessons. All students are given the opportunity to take private music lessons. We have orchestra, jazz bands. We have 3 different a cappella groups. We have, I think it's probably a dozen at this point, student-run dance groups. Dance and theater and stage combat are all performing arts courses, and that's, I'm not doing it justice because there's many others. We also, one of the big things is our musical in the fall. In the winter, we do one-act plays directed and written by students. In the spring, we have a dance series. We also have one in the fall. Plenty. I could do an entire podcast on the performing arts here at Lawrenceville.
That's awesome. So in addition to the arts, are there any other special, say, signature programs that are offered at Lawrenceville School? Like really, unique offerings in the classroom, let's say?
Well, not in the classroom, but out of the classroom.
Yeah, great.
Every summer, we offer our research institutes. We have 5 of them: science, history, literature, sustainability, and social justice. And so each of them is a little different, but they are application based, where the students are applying to these specific programs. They're then interviewed by the program directors. And then over the summer, together in collaboration with the advisor to the Research Institute, they are doing research. It could be research in a lab at Stanford. It could be utilizing the library at Princeton. Each program is going to be different based on the specific subject and any sort of direction that program is specifically going into. But it's one of the most coveted positions here in our student body.
That's awesome. So as we move on from academics, speak a little bit about athletics. Is every student required to play a sport each season? And also, what are some of the athletic offerings that Lawrenceville School has?
So Lawrenceville is really unique in that we do require all of our students to participate in something in the afternoon during the co-curricular time. But we have certainly expanded from that traditional model that you see most places where they have to do a sport. Yes, we offer interscholastic sports. We also offer lifetime opportunities, lifetime sports. We offer an intramural sports setup. And then we also have a few other opportunities for students. We have a farm here on campus. And so farming is an option in the fall and the spring. Like I mentioned earlier, dance can be an option for you as well. In the fall, our stage crew is heavily set in the preparing for the musical. So our stage crew and our tech crew are doing that as an option. So there's plenty of options. So yes, the short answer to that long-winded exclamation is that yes, all of our students are doing something in the afternoon.
And what are some of those sports specifically?
Our sports in the fall, we have field hockey and soccer and football and water polo, cross country, tennis. In the winter, we've got basketball and wrestling and fencing and ice hockey and winter track, squash. Spring, we've got the lacrosse, the track, the baseball, the softball, the crew. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, and that's
awesome. No, that's a good list right there. Impressive. Yeah. That's great. So, Christi, we're going to take a little quick break here, and then we're going to come back and continue to talk about the Lawrenceville School.
Do you have any questions or guests that you'd like to see on an upcoming Why Boarding School podcast? You can contact us directly through our website at whyboardingschool.com. Now, back to our show.
Welcome back to the Why Boarding School podcast. I'm Jeff Quebec, and I'm joined by Christi Ding. Christi is the Associate Dean of Admissions at the Lawrenceville School in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. And as we continue our conversation, Christi, I'm kind of curious, what's a typical school day like at the Lawrenceville School?
That's a great question. And one thing I have always enjoyed saying is that every day is going to be different for every person here on campus. And so
I love it. That's awesome.
Your morning might start off with what we call Big Red Lift, which is the weight room opening up. You might hop in the pool and get in some laps for the Big Red Swim. You also might get up and early and walk across the street to Starbucks and sit down and grind out some homework with a nice latte. The dining hall opens at 7 a.m. The first class of the day is at 8:30. We have a 6-class offering, so each student is able to take 6 classes. 3 classes meet each day. So spread out between 8:30 and 3 o'clock. Our classes are 80 minutes each. We have a first period in the morning. Then we have a 40-minute consultation period, which happens every day, Monday through Friday. And that's essentially office hours with their teachers. Their teachers are sitting in their classrooms waiting for the students to show up to either talk about what they just learned or maybe freshen up on what's about to be on the test next period. But the teachers are there and they're eagerly waiting for students to show up. After that, we have another class period. Then we have lunch. Immediately following lunch, we have community time, which changes each day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that community time is meant for student clubs to meet. It's also when academic departments will meet. It's also when individual faculty or student groups can have meetings. Immediately following that, we have another class period. The day ends at 3. Those co-curriculars that we've already talked about will happen from about 3:30 to 5:30. I've always referred to that 5:30 to 8 o'clock time as the me time. That's when you're eating dinner in one of our dining halls. Maybe you're popping across the street to the pizza place. It's also when you might have more club meetings. It might be when you take a pre-study hall nap or when you start your homework early or you do some laundry. It could be you're celebrating a birthday with a friend, but that's when you're really going to be doing the things that you need to do in prep of study hall, which runs each evening from 8 to 10. And then pending your grade level, you would have lights out. And then you go to bed and wake up the next day and run it all again.
Do it again, repeat, exactly. So it seems like a busy day, but a lot of wonderful opportunities.
Yes, lots of opportunities for exploration.
Yeah, nice. And how about the weekends at Lawrenceville School? What are they like? Are there events on campus, off campus, trips, clubs, activities, et cetera?
Right. So every weekend at the Lawrenceville School is going to look really different. We do have Saturday classes 2 to 3 times a term. We do also have on weekends that there is no Saturday class. We do offer residential programming, which is when we're bringing in speakers or maybe we're doing workshops, and that's kind of an inward opportunity for our community to be together. There might be Saturdays where you don't have class. So you might be getting that great sleep in, which everyone always covets. And then most Saturdays, we're still going to have sports, even if we have no class or even if we have that the residential programming. We'll have activities individually based. So your co-curricular practice, your game, your match will be on a Saturday afternoon. And then in the evenings, we have all different types of activities. We have a homecoming dance. We have the dance series. We have this past weekend, we had a program come in where Animals of the Wild. So they're bringing in animals. We'll do the library hosts a Comic-Con. We'll have 3v3 basketball tournaments. The rink is always open for anyone wanting to learn to skate. The other opportunity on the weekends is that's when houses will have events. And so our house system here is also part of our weekend activities programming.
That's great. So actually, let's piggyback off of that. So we referred to the houses, obviously referring to the dormitories. And so can you tell me a little about dorm life? What is dorm life like at Lawrenceville School?
So Lawrenceville's residential system is centered in our house system. And so at Lawrenceville, there's 3 different levels. There's the 9th grade, which is lower school. So we have a 9th grade boys dorm and a 9th grade girls dorm. And we do refer to all of our dorms as houses. So at this point, I'm going to go back to using houses.
Yeah, of course, Of course.
So the ninth grade house and girls' house and the ninth grade boys' house are right across from each other. And there's a gigantic oval shaped grass area in between them called the bowl. And as a ninth grader, that's your space. That's your life. That's if you're coming out of your room, you're immediately going to see all the people that are hanging out in the bowl. And that is where the ninth graders hang. So it really creates an awesome opportunity for our ninth graders to be together and to get to know one another, because there's always going to be someone out there playing spike ball, can jam, throwing a lacrosse ball. So that's the ninth grade. After the ninth grade, you are split up amongst the houses. And so when you speak to a Lawrenceville alum and you ask, what house are you in? They're referring to the one that they were in for the 10th and 11th grade. And so you remain in that house for 10th and 11th grade. We have 5 houses for the girls and 6 houses for the boys. Each house is equally mixed, 10th and 11th, and each house is a true depiction, a mini version of our community at large. And so it's not like we put all the mathletes over there and the violinists over here. Everyone is sprinkled throughout to kind of create a mini version of Lawrenceville within each house. Students are able, when they're leaving the 11th grade, to apply to be a prefect, which is I think a common thing amongst boarding schools. The unique thing here is that you would only ever prefect in the house that you were in. House culture, house ties run really deep. And so that space is where you'd want to remain, or you would go to be a prefect for the 9th grade, which is a very coveted position because a lot of our Laurentians have that idea of, I've been through it, I know it, I can help them out, right? If you choose not to be a prefect, or if that's not the fit for you, we have senior housing. And so it's kind of cool because the whole thing comes full circle. You started together in one place and then you end together in one place. The house system is really, really awesome and unique and kind of creates a sense of home here at Lawrenceville before you've done anything else in your time here. Each house has their own house council. So leadership is something we're harping from the very beginning. Even as a 9th grader, you'll have the opportunity to be your house president, your house social chair, the sustainability chair, the academic chair. And then it's the same as you go up in the other houses, and all of those leadership positions will then also meet together. So we'll get all the academic chairs. We'll meet with the academic rep on student council so that there is a cohesive message in all of the houses when it comes to those things. Your social chair will plan events. So we spoke earlier about weekends. You might be doing an in-house event. You might be doing an event with another house. Your house might be having an invite a friend where everyone can bring one friend and we all go to the ice rink, or it might be one friend and we all carve pumpkins. And so tons and tons of opportunity for socialization and finding your people within your house and also within the community.
Seems like there's definitely some bonding going on there. And as you mentioned, nice chance to form some relationships.
Yes, for
sure.
And
I'm assuming there's some competitive nature too among the houses.
You ask anyone what the best house is and they will have an opinion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So with that, is there also an advisor system at Lawrenceville School?
That's a really great question, and unique aspect of our house system is that the adults, there's 2 heads of house. I serve as a head of house in one of our girls' 10th and 11th grade houses. And so
that's the best one, right? That's the best house?
Obviously.
Nice.
Stephen's house. I don't want to,
All right. Little shout out to Stephen's house. Yeah.
But the adults in your house that do duty in your house will also be the advisors of the residents in that house. So the nice thing is every time that you're on duty, you're also able to check in with your advisees. When you're having house lunch on a Tuesday, you're going to be sitting with your house. It might be advisory lunch. You're sitting with your group. For the adults on campus serving as advisors, you don't have to go too far to look for your advisees. You're organically going to run into them all the time. So it really fosters great connection and easy support on both ends of the spectrum in terms of just being present and then just being connected.
So you mentioned house lunch on Tuesdays. So let's talk a little about the meals. So are the meals at Lawrenceville School, are they required? Are they optional? Are they sit down? Are they buffet? What's the format?
That is the question, right? When you're coming to
food, right? The all-important question.
Yeah,
the food,
all-important question.
Students want to know that.
All of our meals are buffet style. We do not have any sit-down meals. Tuesday, there is advisory lunch. The head of house, so the adult in charge of your house, can decide which it will be, just an overall house lunch where you all are together, or it can be individual advisory lunch where you're specifically sitting with your advisor. It just will depend what the plans are for your house. The food is great. We're very lucky that, as I mentioned earlier, we have a farm. And so a lot of our produce, some of our meat products, and our eggs are all sourced from the Big Red Farm, which is on our campus within our 700 acres.
Very nice. So, Christi, would you say, is there a typical Lawrenceville School student?
Oh, yes. All Lawrenceville students are passionate about their own interests, and they're all driven to explore other passions and ideas. I wouldn't say you're going to find any single kid that does the exact same activities or has the exact same academic interests, but you are going to find kids that have those passions and want to do well.
Very nice. So would you say, here's another one for you. Are there any cool traditions at Lawrenceville School that may be unique from other schools? Or maybe, Christi, perhaps there's one tradition that you hope always remains part of Lawrenceville. Never eliminate this one tradition.
So one of the big traditions that when you say traditions that people are going to come up with is mentioning our House Olympics, which takes place in that first weekend of school. And I will say the first time you witness House Olympics, it's something that is just eye-opening, because it gets almost primal really fast, because you may have just arrived to the school, or you're a 10th grader that's just arrived to that house, and it is an instant love for your house, and you are decked out in paint, and you're wearing your house colors, and you are participating in a tug of war, a hippity hop, a three-legged race, a tricycle race around that bowl that I mentioned earlier. So that is the big tradition. And then the awesome fact about that is whoever wins House Olympics, there's a trophy. And then House Olympics, the points you get from that go towards the House Cup. And the House Cup is the most coveted award given at the beginning of each school year for the school year that has just passed, of just the most participation points in events on campus, has shown up the most, has done the most activities and won the most activities or contests. And then the cool thing is whomever wins the House Cup, their flag hangs on top of the bathhouse, which is our on-campus cafe.
That's right. So the points are essentially being tracked throughout the year with these different events?
By the student council. So the seniors that are the student council track all those points and the success of the houses. The other thing I love is right before winter break, we have house banquets, which is the most delicious meal in the dining hall. So everyone gets all dressed up, and then every house has their own traditions for what they do after. And so after the house banquet, everyone comes back. There's usually some sort of games, of some sort of silly student performances. And it's just one of those things where it's unique to you, unique to your house. And it's one of the best nights of the year.
Yeah, certainly something that makes it a special tradition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before we speak a little bit about the admissions process, is there anything about Lawrenceville School that we didn't discuss today that you'd like to mention?
Oh my gosh. I think two aspects of Lawrenceville that were appealing to me, and that I think really resonate with a lot of the people looking at boarding schools. For us, I think our location is really important. I think the fact that we are sandwiched between Philadelphia and New York is really an amazing opportunity for our students. We're able to take school field trips, whether it's headed to a museum or headed to an art performance, or utilizing music instructors that, are retired symphonists, or whatever that word would be, from, orchestras in Philadelphia or even New York. I think our location really draws people to it. And then I think one of the big things for us is the diversity of our faculty. I think a lot of schools really promote the diversity of their student body, but I think Lawrenceville is really special in that we have an incredibly diverse faculty, which I think is very important for students, because our students are able to look to our faculty and see themselves in those that are supporting them. And I think that really helps create a connection for our students.
Well, that's great, Christi. So if someone's interested in Lawrenceville School, how might they go about starting this process, the admissions process?
Right. The number one thing that all prospective families should do is go to our website, which is Lawrenceville.org. And then the first thing they should do is fill out our online inquiry form, because that then gets you in our system. And then we just go from there, because then you'll start to get all of our communication and information and next steps and all the stuff that you might need.
So once again, it's Lawrenceville.org is the website?
Lawrenceville.org.
That's great. So we're joined today by Christi Ding, the Associate Dean of Admissions at Lawrenceville School in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. Well, thank you very much, Christi. This has been great. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Why Boarding School podcast. We look forward to you joining us for our next episode. Please remember to subscribe to the Why Boarding School podcast and help us spread the word. Until next time.